Now it's time for On Point, where we speak to experts to delve deeper into the biggest news stories in the spotlight right now. The first full week of 2022 is almost at an end, and many of us who really wanted to stick to our New Year's resolutions may have already just packed it all in and slipped back into our old bad habits, whether it's to quit smoking, start exercising, or put that little bit of extra effort in at work or school once the New Year glow has dissipated, and it dissipates quite quickly, unfortunately, these days. Many of us find ourselves sliding back despite having the best of intentions when we start.
Yes, so we wanted to take a close look at the psychology of New Year's resolutions, especially at a time like this, when we're all weighed down by the seemingly never-ending pandemic and all its related restrictions on our lives. So for more, we are joined by Sandra McDermid, a mindset and life coach at the Life Coach School. Sandra, hello, good morning.
Hi.
Over there.
Oh, hello.
Hi, great to see you.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. So first, can you tell us why so many of us fail miserably when it comes to sticking to our New Year's resolutions? Is it because we have too high goals?
Well, I think there's three real reasons why we don't stick to our resolutions well. One is it's because of too high goals. They're unrealistic. They're also often unclear, our goals. And we often use all or nothing thinking. And what I mean by that is we're either in or we're out. There's no middle ground. There's no room for failure or setbacks. So what I suggest is, number one, you don't set an unrealistic goal, and we know what's unrealistic. So if you want to lose a bunch of weight, give yourself enough time, for example. Just get really clear and specific on your goal, and then you have a much higher chance of success. The other thing is going to this all or nothing thinking. When you have a setback, and as you've mentioned in your opening thing, a lot of us have already had that setback. If we don't use all or nothing thinking, then we can get right back on. Yeah, we had a setback, but you know what? We can get back on, because that's the reality of any sort of habit change. It takes repeated coming back to it for us to actually get anywhere with it.
Yeah, it's very much like when people set themselves a weight loss target and then they hit that weight, they kind of go back to their old ways of eating, or people who quit smoking think, oh, one cigarette here and there won't matter, and next thing they know, they're hooked on smoking again. But as a life coach, when clients come to you, what are the most common lifestyle goals people want to change? And as a general rule, is there one thing all of us can keep in mind when we have realistic goals on how we can ensure that we follow through?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the first point, common goals are exactly what you would expect them to be. Exercise more, lose some weight, cut back or quit drinking or quit smoking, that sort of thing. But people also come to life coaching for bigger goals that they've always wanted to attain and they just haven't got there. So things like, I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to live in a different country. I have my mind on a certain job. So those are the main reasons that people will come to a life coach, and the common lifestyle choices they'll try for. My biggest piece of advice to everyone is to know why you want it. And when I say why you want it, I want you to have a lot of reasons why. For example, I had one client come to me this week who said she wanted to cut back on her drinking. And the reason she gave me was she wanted to reduce her risk of cancer. Great, that all sounds really admirable. But it's only one reason. And I asked her to give me up to 20 reasons why. And the reason I say that is because the next thing she knows, she'll be looking at a news report like you publish, and I'm sure you've seen them, where they'll all of a sudden say, drinking is actually good for cancer. And then her motivation will be wobbling. So if she has other reasons, like, I want to fit into my trousers better, or I want to sleep better, or I want to just be a better example for my children, then you're pulling on different reasons for why you want to do it.
Well, that is very helpful. I'm sure I will keep that in mind. But I was to ask, Sandra, since we're in the middle of a global pandemic, have you noticed more clients coming to you for help regarding the tightened restrictions and, virus-related lockdowns?
Yeah, so what I would say is it's not specifically the restrictions and everything, it's the uncertainty that we're all being made so much more aware of. Life was always uncertain, but we didn't really see it. The pandemic has shown it to us in our face. We don't plan anything the same way anymore because we never know if things are going to happen the way we think they're supposed to happen. And that's where people have come to me a lot more, because mindset and life coaching helps you manage that awareness of the uncertainty and helps you bring back control into your life. The uncertainty was always there, but now people need more methods and opportunities to see how they can manage it for themselves. And that's where life coaching, mindset coaching can be really, really helpful.
Well, it sounds like I need to reserve a one-on-one with you, Sandra. But what advice would you give to people who have a real sense of depression falling over them, be it perhaps they've lost their job due to the pandemic, or they just feel helpless and, like you say, unsure of the future? What advice would you give to those people that have this pandemic blues?
Yeah. Okay. So my first bit of advice is, yeah, it's going to feel bad, right? I mean, we are going to feel helpless, depressed. This is not a wonderful situation. And I think we often try to resist feeling bad, feeling negative emotion. And the first thing we can do is just say, actually, I don't like this. I feel uncomfortable. I feel sad. I feel depressed. And just let ourselves feel bad and not make ourselves feel bad about feeling bad. We'll often do things like say we shouldn't feel bad because we're so lucky in other ways or whatever. Don't add guilt. Don't add judgment. Just let yourself feel bad sometimes. And then if you can, try to get clear on maybe what's specifically making you feel bad. So that if it's maybe it's lack of connection with people. You haven't seen people very often because you've been staying at home. If you know specifically that's the issue, maybe you can work on how you can address that. Is it lack of variety because you're not doing a lot of activities? What could you ask yourself? Our brains know a lot more than we think. If we just ask, what should I do here? What can I do that might be interesting and bring back some variety? So there's a lot of things we can do, but the first thing is to just accept that it might not feel great. If you're in a downward spiral and it's getting worse, you may need to look for some professional help. And there's no shame in that. That is, given the situation that we're in, there's a lot more people who have needed that. And I don't think people should feel bad about that.
Well, that was some healing discussion. Sandra, it was a pleasure speaking to you, and we appreciate your insights. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you.